Hey folks, what's up? Antonio Fletcher back with you once again. This video is going to be a response to Tom Leeds, aka the Friendly Neighborhood Atheist. He recently uploaded a video called "Why Do Atheists Make Fun of Christians?" I thought the video was interesting to say the least. Let's find out why, shall we?
Why do atheists make fun of Christians? Hi, I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist. And if you're a Christian, I'm not really making fun of you. I promise.
Right off the bat, not even 20 seconds into him speaking, he contradicts himself. Why? Just think about it. He clearly agrees with the premise behind the question, why do atheists make fun of Christians? Because he answers, because Christians are an easy target. If he disagreed with the premise inherent in the question, he would have challenged it and not answered the question as it was originally presented. So, he clearly agrees atheists makes fun of Christians, yet says out the same breath that if one is a Christian, he's not really making fun of one, he promises. You cannot logically agree that atheists make fun of Christians, yet at the same time say he's not really making fun of them. A contradiction right off the bat.
But why do atheists make fun of Christians? Well, to be quite frank, Christians are an easy target. They believe some crazy things, and they've got this Bible that has got two versions. The Word of God has got two different versions. It's got the Old Testament, which is the badass God, and the New Testament, which is the softer, kinder, gentler God. And right there is enough to make fun of.
Oh, good grief. Oh man, Christians are an easy target? Oh man, I'm not sure if this guy's used to talking to informed Christians who do quite well in defending the faith. Or maybe he thinks Christians are an easy target because he uses amateur atheist talking points he ignorantly believes are good counter-arguments to Christianity, like fallaciously equating supernaturalism with magic. And yes, he actually said this in one of his videos. While I have no problem with him having his personal opinion that he thinks Christians believe crazy things, as I myself have met many atheists who hold some crazy beliefs themselves, he is clearly incorrect there are two versions of God. He is committing a common fallacy atheists make, confusing a change in circumstance with a change in character. There is only one version of God throughout the entirety of Scripture. What was different was the circumstances humanity were under, so God acted in ways consistent with the circumstances accordingly. This is really no different than how any of us would act. For example, let's say you have a loved one that committed a serious crime and they are on the run. They are a fugitive. This loved one of yours contacts you and asks you to protect them and for your silence. You refuse to do so because you'd be harboring a fugitive at that point, which can obviously get you in trouble with the law as well. As much as you love this person, you don't even want them anywhere around you at this point. However, if that person was not a fugitive, it wouldn't be a problem for you to be around that person. In either circumstance, you are the same person and love that person all the same. However, because the circumstances are different, you address the person you love dearly in being consistent with the circumstances. How you handle that person has to be different. It does not mean that you are different, but only that the circumstances are different. In the same way, God has and always will be the same God with the same character in the Old Testament and in the New, but how he handled humankind was different because the circumstances were different. We are no longer under the bondage of the law today, yet God is still the same as he always has been. There were never two versions of God, so he needs to inform himself and stop confusing differing circumstances with character.
But when you look at all the religions, and there are a lot of religions, and that should tell you something about your religion and why we might make fun of it. But Christians are easy.
Okay, wait, hold the phone. So let's get this straight. Because a lot of religions exist, that must say something about Christianity? He's clearly implying something negative to Christianity when he makes this point. That's just like saying because there are many views and theories of what explains the existence of the universe, it must necessarily say something about any specific viewpoint in theory. Let's use his logic. Oh, there are many theories of what explains the existence of the universe, therefore I must say something about the Big Bang Theory. That logic is just garbage, point blank. It doesn't matter how many views exist. You deal with whatever specific view is given. You don't and can't impugn a specific view by pointing to many other differing views.
Muslims are scary. If you look at the hardcore, the ones that you would make fun of, Muslims have this propensity to kill people that make fun of them. Not all Muslims. I'm just talking about a very, very tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of them. But they're willing to kill. Now, don't fool yourself into thinking that you're better if you're Christian, because the Christians used to do the same thing. They used to kill people for not believing or making fun of them or insisting that what the Bible taught is not correct because the actual evidence that we have found to be in out nature contradicted what was in the Bible. They would ostracize and imprison and kill these people who try to point out that the Bible is bullshit. So Christians have gotten a lot better. But in getting better, they became easier targets to make fun of.
Note what he said in his commentary in the last minute and some change. He remarked on the small number of Muslims willing to kill people for making fun of them. He's clearly speaking in present tense. Now, why is this important, you may ask? Because he also said for Christians not to fool themselves into thinking they are better, then start talking about past events. Now, I do not deny there were believers in the past who did things which were contrary to what Jesus taught, but that has nothing to do with today. Let's use logic here. Christians aren't killing people for making fun of them now. We are talking about today, present tense. Unlike you would see from certain Muslims in Islam now, today, present tense. If Christians aren't killing people for making fun of us today, like you would see from certain Muslims today, why would that not make Christians better today? How is he going to argue Christians aren't any better than Muslims now based on the past? He literally just argued Christians not killing today still puts Christians in the same boat as Muslims because Christians killed in the past. That is simply beyond stupid logic. That's just like saying a murderer who did time and is remorseful for his crime in the past is in the same boat as a serial killer on the loose in the present time. That's just flat out wrong, period.
The culture of religion can be nice. There's lots of nice things about religion. It's just the whole believing God is real and insisting that God is real that makes me as an atheist like, are you kidding me? You will argue with me that I can't prove that God isn't real while insisting that God is real. And that just, that it's hard not to make fun of that.
So, he accepts there are positive aspects about religion, he just thinks any personal deity attached to it is the problem. While he has every right to that view, that sounds more like a personal problem on his part to me, rather than any problem of the believer in said deity. While Christians obviously think there is only one God, you just don't typically see Christians making fun of people who believe in other gods. I applaud the atheists for the higher level of maturity who actually act like adults and don't make fun of believers because they believe God exists and worship God, unlike this guy who carries himself like a high school class clown and isn't to be taken seriously. But let's continue on addressing more of his nonsense.
And I don't poke fun at Christians specifically. I poke fun at all religions, and I'm not really poking fun. I'm just pointing out the flaw in their logic. And that's not really ridiculing. That's not really making fun of them.
If that's the case, then you literally just undermine the entire premise of the video, guy. If you want to point out faulty logic, then there's nothing wrong with that. But making fun of Christians goes beyond the scope of that, dude. You clearly see the difference between demonstrating what is faulty reasoning and poking fun. Your video is why atheists make fun of Christians. It is not called why Christian arguments are illogical. When you say why atheists make fun of Christians, you're referring directly to the individuals themselves by saying Christians. You're making fun of people, dude, not ideas, not bad logic. Let's see what his next episode is going to be.
But I kind of get the impression that a lot of people who think or at least claim to believe that God is real, are somewhat insecure in their faith. And they're afraid that anything that will nudge their belief in the wrong direction is a danger to them. And they get very worked up and angry and defensive about it.
Are there believers who can get insecure about their views? Sure, there are. However, the same thing applies to atheists as well. It's a two-way street. There are atheists out there who also get quite defensive and act insecure when their arguments get challenged. This isn't something exclusive to those who hold the Christian belief. Well, that was easy. On to the next point.
So I'm not really making fun of them, but they claim I'm making fun of them because they're worried that I might convince them that their God is not real. And if I convince them that their God is not real, they think they'll go to hell, which is one of the reasons why I'm very angry at hell being taught as real, because I think that is child abuse when tell it to kids, and I think it fucks people up. I think teaching that hell is real, the only reason you teach hell is real is to scare people into believing the bullshit that you're selling them. And I know atheists who still have a fear of hell, even though they don't think that God or heaven or hell is real. But hell has been such a traumatic thing for them that they still, in the back of their heads, they're worried.
You know, having to address the point about hell gets really old. I realize addressing a lot of atheist garbage gets old, but the point about hell is so mind-numbingly ridiculous, it might as well be on par with when feminists gripe about the wage gap myth, which has also been debunked countless times. But I digress. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The reason why Christians talk about hell is not because they are simply interested in manipulating people into Christianity. If I really wanted to manipulate people into Christianity, I'd probably do it the way some of these false preachers are doing it, by promising wealth in a prosperity preacher heresy, not by scare tactics of hell. Rather, Christians talk about hell because they truly believe it exists and they don't want people going there. However, it seems he doesn't want to even entertain that as a possibility. Atheists like Tom here simply point out to those who sadly use hell as a manipulation tool to impugn the intent of all Christians. Even the famous atheist Penn Jillette said he doesn't respect those who call themselves believers, but doesn't warn people about hell because it will be awkward. It's not about the concept of hell so much as it's about how the believer goes about telling it. I'm convinced anyone who uses hell as a manipulation tool and claims to be a believer probably doesn't have the love of Christ in them and just might end up going there themselves when they are judged after this life. However, as I've also said before, even atheists can do things to manipulate others into what they believe. It's not just something exclusive to Christians. Atheists like Tom need to be honest and concede to that irrefutable truth.
So pointing out the flaws of religion is not making fun of religion. And Christians, I'm sorry, you're easy targets. And the things you believe in are very easy to point out. And at least here in America, there's a ton of Christians, and they're very outspoken. So they're a very easy target. So just because you're an easy target doesn't mean that I'm targeting you. It just means you're just a big target.
Well, that's quite interesting because all I've heard is fallacy after fallacy in this train wreck of yours, Tom. You seem to be quite full of yourself and think of what you are saying is of much higher worth than what it really is. If nothing else, you are demonstrating yourself to be quite an amateur at best, in which case you are doing quite well at making yourself look like an easy target.
So I don't want you to think, if you're a Christian, that I'm making fun of you specifically. I'm just, low-hanging fruit. Anyways, I am Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist, and I'm sorry if you think that I'm making fun of you. I'm really not making fun of you. I'm just making fun of what you believe, which is different, because you believe crazy things, and if you can't handle having those crazy things being made fun of, then you should really be questioning, why do you believe them, if so many people are making fun of it? Just a suggestion.
Like many ignorant atheists, it seems Tom isn't interested in taking the time to really understand worldviews and perspectives outside of his own. Ridicule is typically the tool of the loser and a good sign of the weakness of one's position. If it doesn't fit in his materialist and atheist box, poke fun at it. That is basically how he operates. I find it very interesting you have atheists like Tom here who put themselves on the super high moral ground, pontificating themselves as good people without the need of a deity, then just as quickly engaging in utter ignorance and condescending behavior, which is quite ironic to his name, Friendly Neighborhood Atheist. Tom, I have a suggestion for you of my own. You need to do some serious study before you attack what you don't understand. Again, just a suggestion. Well, folks, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care. God bless, and peace.